Hey everyone, I'm here with one of the biggest names in pickleball today and in the history of the sport. He's been playing pro pickleball since 2018 and already has 20 PPA gold medals. He's been a top 2 doubles player in the world for multiple years now. He's a 29-year-old living in Dallas, Texas, plays a huge part in growing the sport of pro pickleball, and is here with us now to talk about pickleball. Riley Newman, thanks for coming on.
That was a very kind intro, and happy to be here. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, appreciate it. So let's start with, I think, what most people are really interested to hear about. The pickleball world is obviously filled with drama, paddle issues, rating systems, pro tours battling each other, and of course, partner changes. You and Matt Wright have been a top 2 team in the world for a while now. But you've recently announced a changing of the tides after deciding to conclude your saga playing with Matt and continue forward with a combo of AJ Kohler and Julian Arnold. So I have 2 questions for you. First, I'd love to hear, what's your best memory playing doubles with Matt?
There's so many to choose from. We had such a great career together. I really enjoyed playing with him. Believe it or not many people know this, but Matt and I, early days, 2018, 2019, 2020, we really hated each other. We did not like each other on and off the court. There was no love lost. And so when he actually ended up asking me to play, it was a little bit like, dude, I don't like you. And he doesn't like me either. And so we kind of pushed it to the side and kind of put our egos to the side and just wanted to team up. And it went really well. Last 18 months went a great memories I'll cherish for a lifetime. Probably my favorite memory was TOC. It was like a night match. And typically in the finals, you'll play kind of afternoon or even morning. So it's during the day. But this one at TOC in Utah, it was last summer. It was a night match. It was like 6, 7 p.m. It felt like it was a prime time match. The stadium was packed. They were definitely rooting for Matt and I, which I appreciated, which I like. And it was just a fun battle. We ended up taking down the Johns brothers. I'm not sure if it was in 4 or 5, but it was an epic fight. And definitely that was one of my highlights of playing with Matt.
That's awesome. So I'm curious, in talking about the new partners, what do you see in AJ and Julian individually as new partners that you feel will take your doubles career to a new level?
Yeah, I think both of them are just super athletic. I think Matt has really, really good hands, and he's obviously has made a name for himself. But I think at the end of the day, this game at the pro level is getting so physical and so demanding on you that if you need to be able to get some defensive balls down, transition work, just being super quick and athletic, it definitely helps for those longer matches and those longer days on court. And when you're playing against Ben and Colin or JW and Dylan, some of these top teams, you got to be able to be playing at your best for a multiple games and just being athletic. And I think both of those guys do a really nice job of just getting a lot of shots back. They have some offense, which I like as well. And they're great players and really good, fiery competitors. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm excited to see you guys together on the court. So another question, you've been extremely successful for an extremely long period of time playing this game. I'm curious, does the more success you have create even more pressure to sustain it, or less pressure because you feel like now you've really proven yourself?
No, I think there's probably a little bit of more pressure. Now that I've been playing for a few years, like you mentioned, there's so many young, solid players coming in that all they want to do is just kind of kick me off. And I'm trying my best, and I'm even working harder now than I am what I was doing a couple years ago because I know that. And so what I have to do to stay close to the top is just work harder on and off the court. Those guys are good, right? So they have lots of high tennis backgrounds and even pickleball backgrounds that you can't take them lightly. And it's fun. It's actually good for the competition. It's good for the level of play. I mean, I remember a few years ago in the second round match, you can kind of go through the motions and kind of easily get that win. But now second rounds, third round matches, they are tough. They're going 3 games. I'm even like having to really battle and even lose some. So it's great for competition. It's great for professional pickleball, and it's only going to get better.
Are there any new players or existing players that are really rising their games on the male or female side that you're excited to play, maybe nervous about, or interested to see how they evolve?
Well, I think it's big for like the singles players, right? So like if you're a high level tennis background, obviously we've seen a lot more success on the singles side. Federico, Pablo Tellez, those 2 names I just mentioned, they're actually now becoming really, really solid doubles players, where now they've kind of marked themselves as like the 4th best team in my eyes on the PPA tour. But just a year ago, you would not see them getting 4th place. And so they're taking their game to another level on the double side, which is impressive. And so those players are working harder than ever. And so it inspires me. I'm ready for it.
Absolutely. So, the level you're playing now, I could see you playing this level for many, many years to come. Though you're obviously involved in other places. You have a lot of sponsors. You teach. I'm sure you have other pickleball related endeavors. How long, if you had a crystal ball, do you think you're going to continue playing pickleball at the pro level at the top of the game?
It's a great question. It's actually one that I've kind of talked with my family with, even on Whidbey Island here in the summer. I took the last 2 weeks off where I didn't touch a pickleball paddle during the summer break. I love pickleball, but it doesn't define me. And I like doing other sports. I like playing basketball. I like playing golf, baseball, whatever it is. But, I think if I could really keep staying at the top for these next couple of years, I'll kind of ride it out. I think at the end, if I had to cap it, I'm probably only playing another maybe 5 or 7 years. I have a lot of other career goals that I want to do. I'm just starting to get into real estate in Dallas. So I want to have build my real estate portfolio and just other avenues that I want to explore, because pickleball does take a lot of time. I mean, I'm on the road 24 weekends pretty much of the year. And so it's tough balance family and a personal life when you're constantly gone. So I'll continue to battle on the pickleball tour for probably another 5 to 7 years. But at the end of that, I think I'll be ready to do something else.
There's so many different questions I want to ask you. It's hard to pick and choose. Like, I know you spend a lot of time playing pickleball. When you're not playing tournaments, how many hours a day are you training, and what are you doing?
Yeah, I think, in years past, I'd be playing maybe once or twice a week. I really won't play too much. Now, yes, I'm doing stuff off the court each day, but pickleball wise is about 1 to 2 days. I think now it's probably more closer to that 4 days. For me personally, if I play every single day, I get burnt out, where I don't want to be playing every single day. And honestly speaking, we're playing so many tournaments that I don't think it's necessary to play every single day. You're getting the reps in the tournaments and before that I don't think it's necessary. But I'm probably about 4 days a week, and then I'm training on and off the court each day. I'm doing a lot more leg work, so a lot more squats, a lot more core work. Just having a good solid lower base, which is obviously needed in pickleball because you're constantly in that lower ready position.
What's your ratio of drilling to playing games?
So the ideal drill to play for me is, I actually just posted on my Instagram, this is the first hour I'll do drills, where I'll do lots of drilling, get my reps in, cross courts, middle court, resets, all that good stuff for an hour. And then I'll bring in 2 other players and I'll play live points for that last hour. And I'm only going to play 2 hours. I'm never going more than those 2 hours. So you rec warriors that are playing 5-6 hours a day, I don't know how much beneficial it is to your game. Yes, it's fun to be playing that long, but after that 2.5 hour mark, you start to lose focus, you start to lose concentration, and you're really not getting better on the court, and you start to get lazy habits. And so I kind of keep it and cut it at that 2 hour mark where I'm getting the drilling and the playing. I feel like I just got everything I needed in that 2 hour session.
Yeah, that's really insightful, actually. I mean, rec players, if they want to have fun and play for 10 hours, fine. But the players that want to get better, I think you're right. After 2 hours, they might not actually be improving, because you're not going to play tournaments after 3 hours in a row of playing. I mean, you'll have breaks in between matches. So I think that's a really good point. Yeah, no, I really like that way of thinking. So along the lines of advice and insights, what's the number one piece of advice you would give to a player 3-0 or higher who's looking to take their game to the next level?
Well, to kind of piggyback off that last point, I think a lot of 3-0s and 3-5s, they go out to the court, and they hit a couple dinks, and then they just start playing. And they start playing for 4 or 5 hours. And the rallies, at the 3-0, 3-5 level aren't usually the longest. Typically it's serve, return, maybe a missed third, or maybe 5 shots kind of most for rallies. And you're not getting the reps you really need to really improve and get better. So I would definitely suggest any 3-0, 3-5 player listening to drill way more than you play. I mean, this ratio for 3-0, 3-5, it would be 80% drill, 20% play, something in that category. What you need to do is have a solid foundation. So if you don't have a solid foundation where you can't hit 10 dinks in a row cross court,
right,
okay, we have a problem here. So get the drilling out, cross courts, middle court, third shots, and just hone in on those skills.
How many dinks in a row do you think a 3-0 to 4-0 player needs to be able to hit?
Oh, that's a good question. I think, when I used to teach a bunch of clinics, we would kind of count out how many you can hit in a row. And I was always happy when a 3-0, 3-5 player could get kind of 20 to 25 cross-court dinks in a row. I was pumped as a coach when I saw that. So I guess that'd be a healthy number to start.
Cool. And then just a couple more quick questions. So, one of the aspects of your game that really stand out is your backhand. You know, while many players have either built their game with the two-handed backhand or developed one over time, you use yours more than most others, and on shots many don't always use, including the dinks and most putaways. So I have two questions. I guess one is, in your eyes, what's the greatest advantage a two-handed backhand has over a one-hander? And then also, what about the technique or form you use makes your two-hander so much different from everybody else's?
Yeah, I think the biggest reason why I think you're seeing it across all pickleball, whether it's men or women use it, is because of the defense and the control. I think it's so much easier to dig up a ball with two hands or trying to reset a ball, play these softer control shots with that second hand, adding the feel. You know, when I first started playing in 2017, I went out to a local place in Seattle, and kind of the local legend of the sport, and he was playing pro pickleball at that time. He's like, you know, Riley, I don't think you should use the two-handed backhand. No one's really doing it. And I'm like, dude, screw you. I'm going to use it. I'm just comfortable doing it. And sure enough, that same guy, I went back a couple years later, and what was he using? He was using the two-handed backhand. So it's definitely becoming a newer trend. Everyone's starting to at least have it in their games. That's the biggest benefit, I think, is the control and defense. My grip is a little bit different than most. If I had a paddle, I would show it to you, but I have a little bit more of like a semi-Western forehand grip. And so it's different because most people have a continental grip where it's more kind of the shaking the hands. I'm a little bit more over top. So it's different for me is because now I have more of like a forehand pancake volley, which is another one of my better shots here, where a lot of people, if they have a continental grip, they might get jammed in this area with the chicken wings. So that's a little bit different with my grip. Do I teach the way that I hold the paddle? No, I do not. It's a little bit different. It's a little quirky and unique. Definitely teach the continental grip, but I've wrote it out this long. It's too late to change. I'm just going to rock it and keep playing with it.
Yeah. No, that actually, I've never thought about that way, but you're pretty much eliminating the risk of a chicken wing, and you're getting an easier offensive counter and better putaways because you don't have to actually shift the wrist. So that's actually really interesting. Yeah, two last questions. So one is just when you look at the growth of pickleball as a whole, the recreational side, the pro side, when you think 5-10 years down the line, what excites you the most about the growth of pickleball right now?
Well, recently I was just in Australia in January, and I was going to really watch the Australian Open tennis. That was a big bucket list item for me. And when I was out there, I got asked to teach a bunch of pickleball clinics, and each one sold out really, really quickly. And it just showed me that Australia, you know, a country so far away from the States, is picking it up and picking up big. I mean, they loved it. They were all for it. They rolled out the red carpet for me. It was so nice. It was so great. And so I think countries that have a hard court surface for tennis, it's going to be much easier to translate because now you got to do is just get a temporary net and throw some lines on. What's trickier for other countries, let's say China, where I was just at, in Taiwan, it's tougher for them because that's more of a badminton and ping pong surface. So the ball doesn't bounce up as high. And so now it's going to be tougher to get ball courts because of that surface. So the countries with hard court really explode, start playing more. And the other countries with surfaces that don't have the hard court, it's going to be a little bit slower. But I would love to see it in the Olympics 5 to 10 years. Hopefully I'm still playing at the top where I can compete for the USA. That would be a big dream of mine. And so if we get to the Olympics, that's number one, and let's get it, boy.
Yeah, I run an academy. One of our coaches tells every player, he says, my goal is to represent my country in the Olympics, in 8 years or so. So that'll be amazing to see. Last question. So this is general. Why do you love pickleball?
Well, I love pickleball because I'm very fortunate enough where I can hit a wiffle ball for a career living. Let's be real. When I first started, the very first paycheck I got from pickleball, I won the gold medal. It was crazy. Me and Lindsay, we got asked to play pickleball in a tournament. We've only been playing for maybe a day or two. We go down to Oregon. We sleep in our car in a casino parking lot. We're broke out of college, not knowing really what to do with our lives. I was reffing college basketball at the time, and we actually ended up winning the pro division, not knowing how to keep score, borrowing people's paddles. It was a hot mess. We ended up winning $330, and we're like, oh my gosh, we're rich. Let's go. And got sponsored that same weekend. And ever since then, more endorsement deals, prize money's gone up. There's appearance fees. So I'm really just lucky that I can do this for a living. And I'm going to my 12-year high school reunion this weekend, and everyone's going to drill me with pickleball questions because they're shocked of how well everything's going on. So I'm pumped. think more exposure on TV is getting great for the sport. I'm getting now recognized in like airports or even just random places on the city. So pickleball has just changed my life. I'm so grateful for all the people that I've met and just to continue the ride.
Absolutely. I know things have been going incredible, and I'm sure they'll continue to be. So I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for coming on.
Absolutely. And fans, I'm going to be posting a little bit more content on my Instagram page, a little bit more instructional content as well. I know a lot of the 3035 players crave that content. So be sure to check that out. It's Riley Newman PB is my Instagram, and hope everyone has a great day.
Absolutely.